Welcome to Youth Chat on CYC. I'm Natalie Malad. Joining me on my panel today is Sylvia Takla, Josh Karras, Daniel Noor, and Marina Bichet. And we'll be talking about the topic of friendship. So to start off, guys, what is a friend? What does friendship mean to you?
More than a stranger, less than a partner.
Okay.
Hey?
And that's all we have time, folks.
That's all we have time for. CYC Youth Chat today.
It's so broad. Where do you begin? There are so many different types of friends, the ways in which you meet them, and what you consider a friend is also very important. Who is considered to be close enough to you in the sense that your emotional attachment, the common values you share, I guess,
But are we supposed to be friends with everyone?
Well,
That's a good point.
That's biblical.
That's biblical.
Is that more like you should love everyone?
Where does it say that we need to be friends with everyone?
Oh, I got it. Matthew 5 verse 44. But I tell you, love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you.
Love your enemies. It doesn't say
He
we have
just
to create
Bible
friendship.
lawyered you.
We all know this. We all
You
know
just
that.
got Bible.
No, there's a difference. I can love someone or I can have genuine affection for them, but it doesn't have to mean they're my friend. A friend is someone you want to talk to on a regular basis. You want to go out and see them. You want to you genuinely care for their everyday, whatever they do on a daily basis.
So
If
you're
I
talking-
have a stranger, I love them. If I see someone
But
in
you
the
don't
street,
genuinely
but
care.
if I see someone in the street struggling, I'm gonna go help them.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean that they're my
And
friend.
you're expressing love to them.
But that doesn't mean they're my friend.
Aren't they your friends? I don't think Jesus, would say, I love you all, but only John over here is my friend, John the beloved. They were all beloved. So then why draw these lines?
I think maybe Sylvia's talking more about a best friend, someone you talk to on a daily basis. Is that what you mean? As opposed to like your Facebook friends where you've got maybe 800 of them, but you actually only talk to maybe 10 of them?
I just feel like we call everyone a friend.
Yeah.
My uni friend, my work friend, my friend
My
from
friend's
primary.
friend, yeah.
Yeah,
So maybe
I think the only way you actually distinguish it is how you feel personally about each one.
And what you're willing to give for
Yeah.
their well-being is another important point.
so can we agree that there's different levels of friendship?
Absolutely.
In reality,
Yes.
yes. But I think that the spiritual truth is that we should be loving everyone, and that's heaven, isn't it? In heaven, there is no longer hierarchy.
There's no best friend. Everyone's your best friend.
There's no best friends in heaven. Everyone's your best friend. So, but I guess that's not always the case in the real world. It's not the case in the real world.
It's definitely not.
No.
Personal experience, Sylvia.
But how do you? So we obviously we obviously strive to. We want to strive to have the heavenly aspect in tow with our daily lives. How then can you literally call someone who absolutely grinds your gears in every way, pushes every single button? How then? Isn't it enough to say that I'm tolerating you, I'm not hating you, I'm trying my best to love you, but then to call them it's funny how we can say that I love you, but I'm not your friend. That's the conundrum, I guess, that we need to. Where do we say I will do this for you because the Bible tells me to? Doesn't mean I have to spend all my time with you. Isn't it okay to say there's everything wrong with you? I cannot stand your very presence.
I'll often start a conversation just with, "Oh wow, you really annoy me as a person. I don't
See how
like
that
you."
goes. Yeah, it's such a strange topic because you don't know. It seems to be so hypocritical.
Yeah.
In the sense that you don't know what emotions to display to someone who you just do not get along with. You can do, like the Bible tells us, you may actually find it within yourself, with guidance of the Bible, to make a massive sacrifice for someone that you absolutely detest because the Bible tells us you to do it. But the moment they tell you to be your friend, it's harder. You don't want to do it.
All the great saints were able to do that, weren't they? They showed that immense love.
Absolutely.
And it's what set them apart. And actually, even the people who despised them, they would show more love to, and that's what made them so wonderful, and that's what gave them fame. Is that ability, which is what Jesus had, I think. I'm sure. to love people. So yeah, but like you say, what do we do? Sometimes I feel that it's better not to have any communication with a person to whom I'm just going to be hostile. It doesn't do them any good for me to be some martyr. Like, no, I must be in your presence at all times. But then, like, I'm annoyed at them, I say mean things. It doesn't help. It doesn't help. But that's a weakness on my part, isn't it?
Well, I think what's interesting is that as soon as we said what is a friend, everybody sort of just brought up the topic of love. And I mean, whether that's because of our Christian background or, you know, whether that's just a common knowledge thing. Proverbs chapter 7 verse 17, Proverbs 17:17 says, a friend loves at all times and a brother is born for adversity. So yeah, a friend loves at all times. It's a matter of doing things out of love and genuinely wanting to know if they're okay and genuinely wanting to sit with them and to you know, just have a good time with them on a personality level as well. I mean, you don't want to force a friendship on anyone. So, I mean, let's tie that into social media. So do you think that, is it okay to call 800 people that you know friends?
I think it's just the terminology used with a social media website. I mean, calling enemies doesn't have the same. Well, exactly right. Calling them a person, you know, 800 people. I mean, doesn't have the same effect. I think, unfortunately, in today's society, that I think the reason we're struggling to have a definition of the word friends is because it's just so overused. You can use it in the sense that you have 1,500 friends on Facebook. You have 80 friends in your cohort of the degree you're studying. You have 10 best friends, and then you've got one friend who you spill your guts to and cry on the phone to every week because something. You have, there's all these levels, and it's the same word. And so I think that's why it's so difficult to define such a broad topic, because you need to break it apart into every level of friendship. You can't. Is it safe to say that it's easier to love your enemy than it is to be friends with your enemy?
Is it safe to say that it's easier to love your enemy than? I think it's more prudent. It's harder to show a love when you can get nothing in return than it is to be friends with someone, because that implies, when we say it in the way I mean, that they give you something back, but you can't get anything back from someone for whom you are simply being Jesus. They won't necessarily give you the same return. So yes, sometimes I think it is harder to love someone than it is to be friends with them. And I think actually in all good friendships, maybe this is another thing we need to talk about. You said that we need to mention love. There are different types of love, aren't there? There's a need love and there's a gift love. There's love that is something that you receive from someone else, and then there's this sacrificial love where, like God loves us, not because he needs something from us, but because he is love and he's self-sufficient. And that's probably what Christians need to be like. They need to have that same really sacrificial love, you know. I don't always have that with my friends.
Yeah, that's a good point. So, I mean, you touched on the gift love as well. So what do we do on our part, therefore, to maintain a good friendship? Is it more than just going on Facebook and liking something because you're a friend? Is it more like you have to actually go out of your way and make time to check up on someone, and not maybe just text, or maybe not just a phone call, but like actually taking time to see this person face to face and have an interaction?
Interest in how they're traveling through. You need to make sure that they are okay on an emotional and mental and spiritual level. Like, you can't say you have 800 of those. You just don't have enough time to do it.
I think it's just the expectations that everyone holds within their own friendships. Like, I can be friends with someone and we won't talk for weeks on end. But then, you know, the moment we text each other or whatever, or we see each other, we're back right to where we originally started. Like, we haven't lost anything. There are no hard feelings for not talking for so long. But then you'll have a friend who you can go a day without talking to, and they'll be like, you know, you forgot about me. Why are you being so mean to me? Like, why are you ignoring me for?
Need love.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think also friendships develop.
Maybe.
It's like, before there was no other means to have a friend other than to go out of your way and see them. But now it's become so easy. We can pick up the phone, we can text, we can Skype, we can WhatsApp, Viber. There's 1,000,001 ways or avenues for you to even talk to people overseas. But it's also really hard. Although these avenues have made it easier for us to communicate, work hours have become longer. How many times have you guys wanted to meet up with a friend and said, no, sorry, I'm too busy?
Every day.
So it's become...
Is one of those friends sitting at this table?
So it's really, really hard. You have to... I feel like a lot of times now we're really good friends because of convenience, because we live in the same area, or because we study the same course.
Yeah.
Like the human connection aspect gets lost a bit, I think, when you have your avenues of communication like that. I can't stand chats. I can't stand messaging, because you feel like you're not really expressing yourself correctly, and if there's gaps in coherence, in expression, which is so important to communication. Communication is one of the key aspects to our existence. We've learnt to talk and write for a reason, and especially to communicate on that fundamental level of just back and forth conversation.
You can't do that in a message window. You can't do that.
I just find it
on
so.
Facebook.
Abuna Anthony said, he does talks in the States, and he said, a friendship develops face to face, not thumb to thumb.
See, I love that. I completely agree with that.
So I guess an occasional text message is okay to check up, but it shouldn't be the core reason that you guys are developing a
But
friendship.
See, now I want to go back to my word, because I actually have a very close
Very
friend.
fickle.
See, look at this. I know, look at this. But look, and now I'm going to be ironic. I'm going to be hypocritical. I actually made a very close friend with someone that I met through Facebook. We were having an argument about something. We were observing an argument occurring on a certain topic, and then in time we just added each other. We agreed with each other. We were backing each other up in this argument.
Yeah.
We started talking. Turns out we went to the same uni, met up for coffee one time.
University for
University.
our non-Australian viewers.
Oh yes.
College. College.
Yes, we went to college, and we became good friends. So.
But
and
you
again-
met up. That still goes back to
which
the...
I absolutely, yes, that's right. Which I felt that after the meetup occurred, the friendship was now secure. Like it wasn't.
Do you think, had that meetup not happened, for example, let's say you there's a difference between a friendship going well for the first couple of weeks, because it's still new, you're still getting to know each other, and then it goes on for 2 weeks. But had you not seen each other, or not known that you guys go to the same university together, would that friendship have continued?
I honestly couldn't say. May probably not, because
It would be harder, I think.
It would definitely be harder.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
We went overseas, and I went and visited my cousin who lives in the States, and we became really good friends really, really fast. And when I left, it was much harder for me to stay in contact with her, just because of the distance. At first, emails were a lot more consistent. As time went by, they became once a week, then once a month, then once every 3 months.
Okay. I think you're on a very good point, but I want to come back to it because we do need to go to a break. So we'll keep on to that topic of the busyness within a friendship. So please stay with us on CYC. We'll be back with more. Welcome back to CYC Youth Chat. We were talking about busyness in friendships. So Sylvia, you were telling Josh about how emails and texts and things like that with people in long distance becomes a little bit harder to maintain. So what do you guys think about maintaining friendships?
I was thinking reversing the role. So being friends with someone purely on the I don't want to say you met them through whatever network, but you continued your friendship through texting and through Facebook messaging and whatever else you might have. And then when you come to see them, you're kind of really awkward and just like...
It's a byproduct of today's society.
Yeah, and you're just so used to messaging them, and you take your time. I think, I'm not going to lie, it's a problem that I've discussed with many, many people, that when you come to actually text someone, you have so much time to reply to them and think of what you want to say to them, so that when you end up talking to them face to face, you just kind of go...
You just pause. Please wait, I'll need 20 minutes.
That's just how it ends up
Just
being,
wait,
and you're
just
like, I
type
don't know what to say to you because I'm so
Or
used to
put up
having a
like
moment.
a little border so you can
Yeah.
pretend like you're Skyping with them.
We should all just wear
Normal.
hats with like screens that just come down.
See, I find that so sad. It's that we've come to that. I mean, At least though,
Hat screens. It's the way of the future, man.
at least we find, at least out of all of this, you know, confusion and anxiousness, at least it's refreshing. When I see someone that I've talked to for so long,
Yeah.
like seeing my mate was fantastic. I'd never, you know, we'd never talked, and it's like, this is awesome, you know, what a nice change, and we can talk, we don't have to wait for each other to reply.
When I don't like see my friend face to face for a while, I start hating them. Well, that's healthy, I think. That's Christian. But in that way, they're like, oh, okay, fine, I'll respond to you. Yeah, let's catch up sometime, whatever. You know, like,
oh, I hate that.
there's not enough genuine interaction now for us to be connected.
But
Now
can you
let's-
blame people if you haven't? If
I
someone
only
can't,
blame other people. It's all their fault. Because I have a good self-esteem.
if someone hasn't seen you in a while and they do want to catch up with you and they can't, they don't live near you, you know, they don't see you at uni, and when they text you and they genuinely mean it and they say, hey, let's catch up, you feel like that's not good enough?
I have very high standards. No, I think I want to. No, it's not that. Obviously, if I see someone, I'm fine. But it's just this thing of you can't. I agree with what you said before. You can't have a relationship. What was that great little quote? Not through the thumbs, but through the heart, or something like that.
That was
Way off.
That was really, really wrong.
I don't even feel like I should say it.
All right,
You
fine.
just put it to shame.
Okay. What about friends who are outside of your comfort zone? Like if I was to make friends with someone of a different sexuality than me, or a different ethnic group than me, or a different religion, I sometimes wonder, like, should I invest in that, or would that be unwise?
What type of friend are they? How much trust can you put in them? How much love can you give them when if they're not, your core values are different, even though your personalities are so
similar,
in
like,
concurrency,
yeah.
and that they float. You're so in sync. You feel like you can connect on a very high level with this person, yet at the bottom level, at the fundamental level, you guys are a mismatch.
But that sounds
what can
selfish
you do?
to
You're like,
me.
oh, I have, in my opinion,
It's not at all Christian.
I feel like just love, and if it's easy for you to love this person who is of a different religion to you, give it anyway,
Because
you
we're
should
supposed to
be
be loving
doing it
them
anyway.
yeah.
Exactly right.
And we're supposed to be loving them when it's hard, no less when oh look, you're a totally great person, and even though we disagree on some stuff, I can still be like Jesus would be to you.
That's what I find actually sometimes is you get people telling you that it's, you know, oh, that person's Muslim. It's like,
Oh my God, really?
like, okay, yeah, it's like I've been told that before, and I said, I mean, I appreciate it. So what were you going to say?
No, I was just saying, I think that's something that's kind of generational.
Yeah.
That's kind of been passed down.
Yeah,
And I think that is definitely something that we need to break.
Our parents' generation, yeah.
But actually, what do you mean? Our parents' generation grew up with Muslims. It's our generation that's put
Yeah,
it
but
in.
you just see everything that's happening.
Then it's our generation.
No, it's not even,
the
because,
terrorism
like,
and the
terrorism, because it doesn't exist.
whatever. But it's
Um,
associating terrorism to all Muslims. That's what it is.
Yeah, no,
I think
that's
the
definite,
point is
but-
whenever you are in a different society, our society is very different to our parents' generation, and the Egypt of today is different to their Egypt, especially if they immigrated to parts of the diaspora in like the 70s, as many of our parents did. So anyway, it's not just that one racial group or that one religious group, but it's this thing of, I don't know, I mean, yeah, difference, it's differentness. I know that there is tension between different Egyptians, but that's not, I think, helpful. I think what's helpful is how do we deal with difference
Yeah.
in
So
general.
I think maybe you're talking maybe even just
Yeah.
outside of like how we're influenced by our Egyptian culture. It's more like at uni, you know, you meet people who are well for us Australian, you know, and their culture is totally different, and you know they might say, hey, let's go out for drinks, and their way of socializing is very different to maybe the way that we would want to socialize. So how do you deal with that and still be friends with them? I mean, they're still good people, but the way that they want to be friends is a bit different to how we grew up knowing being friends is good. So how would you deal with?
I think that drinking has become something of like an evil propaganda stereotype in the Arab community, especially in the Egyptian community, because there is a sense in which we really feel like, oh no, that's become the marker of so much other stuff. If you drink, then in the mentality of a certain, I don't know, way of living, a certain way of life, it also means that you're evil in all of these other ways. You know what I mean? You do all this other stuff. And so I think it's very important with any cultural practice, be it drinking or smoking or anything like that, to distinguish between what is the Christian thing to do as far as my conscience is concerned, and when am I talking about a cultural habit. Because there are parts of Europe, for example, where I'm sure a bunch of people drink beer, you know, like with breakfast. They're not alcoholics. So then we can't say, oh no, I mustn't talk to you, German, or whatever, or Brit, or European, you know. It's a different culture. You have to know that difference, don't you think?
Yeah.
I agree. I just find it so difficult because you have to cross these cultural barriers all the time when you're but you love the person, and then you come to this point during your developing friendship, and you'll just be at perpendicular angles of your viewpoint on it. But now let's give for example, I had this wonderful friend who was an atheist. We were great. We were amazing friends. We were in the same cohort, so I saw her 30 hours a week. You know, we were inseparable. And then just one after the other, slowly, as we began, the friendship grew and developed and flourished. All of a sudden, these important fundamentals of our very essence, example, getting drunk, sleeping around, and our viewpoints on them, just began to get in the way of what I would consider to be a healthy friendship. And so we both didn't want to give up on the friendship, so we had no choice but to retract the developing friendship, from it, and just go back down to like the medium level of friend. That you would call them a very good friend, but we just hit the roof.
Yeah.
Which is really sad because, you know, but you think what can you do in that situation?
Yeah.
Well, I think that does come back to the Bible where, you know, we know that we should surround ourselves with people who have good habits because that's what you'll pick up.
Absolutely.
And you don't want to pick up other people's bad habits because, again, we can't really fight that off as we're not as strong as we think we are, as much as we'd like to be. So yeah, it is all about, it is a good thing that you notice what you should do with and participate with other people, and knowing that, well, no, hold on, I'm a Christian, I don't really believe
Or
in
knowing
those
the
principles.
boundaries for you. And it's not even it's also just about prudence. Doesn't the Bible say you have to be as wise as serpents but as innocent as lambs, or something to that effect? And so it's not just, you know, I'm sorry, I can't go out with you because I have mass. But but also just a prudence. Like there are some close friends of mine who are the same ethnicity and religion. They're Christian and Egyptian, and I know that there are certain lines I can't cross with them, you know. And so that is also, you have to have an awareness of that.
It says here in 13 verse 20, whoever walks with the wise becomes wise, but the companion of fools will suffer harm. So that comes to picking your friends carefully, and how strong can you say you are if you're surrounding yourself in those who have those fundamentally different values to you. I think that's why the church is so determined to ensure that the youth keep with their youth. And every now and then I look around the church and see 1 in 500 Caucasian. You know, it's one.
Or just non-Egyptian.
Oh my gosh, there's an Asian. What goodness! And I feel like I understand why the church does it. I just wish there was a way in which we could express our individual personalities and not have to risk have the strength within ourselves, so we wouldn't have to risk suffering harm, as the Bible says.
And express our Christianity.
Exactly.
I mean, we're supposed to be there for that purpose,
Yeah.
not to be a self-sustaining entity, but to be
That's right.
a light on a hill.
Yeah, I was just about to say that I think it's more so you let your friends know, whether they're of a different ethnicity or religion or whatever, you let them know that these are your principles, and so they also know when to not ask you things and when to ask you things, and they respect you for that, and they see, I think, I can't remember who said it, that they see the Christ in you,
Yeah.
and they respect that, and although they may not agree with it, but they'll respect it, and you know, oh well, this person doesn't swear, so I'm not going to swear around them, and that sort of thing. And
Exactly right, and it's worth it, because what if that occasional in your lifetime, what if the occasional person actually heeds your word, and all of a sudden they've seen the light.
That's right.
Friendship, conversion through friendship.
But Mother Teresa says, oh sorry,
No, you're okay.
you're going to interrupt Mother Teresa? You want to do that, Marina? The woman is a saint. No, she's blessed. But the truth is that we don't need to go out to the middle of Africa in order to serve God. And she says, someone asked her, or, you know, how can I help you? She says, you have to find your Calcutta. Don't come to me with me to India. Look at your neighbours. Look at your community. And I think it's very easy, under the guise of, no, I'm just taking care of myself, to ignore everyone around you. It does take guts and responsibility to stand up and own the space where you are, you know, with the help of the Holy Spirit. It's much harder to do that than it is to be in a shell, don't you think?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So Marina, you were going to say something?
I was just going to say you attract people by the way you act. So if you want to attract your good company, then you'll attract them purely because of the way you act. Like, I just started placement, and the girl who I'm doing it with, not to be extremely, you know, stereotypical, but she is Australian. She is, you know, blondish, blue eyes, whatever. Doesn't go to church, doesn't have a bit of, like, you know, doesn't have much of a religious background, whatever. And so we'd sit there chatting, telling each other what we did this day and what we did that day and blah, blah, blah. And it got to the point where we were just sitting there and she goes, I feel like you're a bit of a good girl. And I started laughing and I'm like, I did. Very, very emphasised it. But yeah, she goes, I don't understand, like, how and why, like, why do you act like that and how are you like that? And I just sort of shrugged and I'm like, it's not a choice that, I don't feel like it's a choice that I've made, it's just how I've been brought up, you know? And she goes, oh, you know, what were you brought up in? And then we had this whole discussion and she goes, well, now it just makes sense.
Yeah.
You know, so if you attract someone, like,
through your friendship, you got through to her.
Well, I don't want to say I got through to her. She's not a bad person,
Just in the sense that
She made her less
you broke
Australian.
the barrier, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
She came to accept, even though you, by the sounds of it, you guys are so vastly different. She has managed to accept her, and you, obviously being a Christian, would accept whatever she gets up to.
Exactly. So we got to the end of the conversation. She goes, you know, don't judge me by what I tell you. And I'm like, well, of course I'm not going to. You know, you do your thing. You do you, and I do me. Like, it's, yeah.
I wanted to ask something to you guys. Actually, I just had a thought. Now we always know not to gossip, but to lead quiet lives, right? And so you have the idea of the best friend. I mean, I consider, to me, a best friend is someone I tell everything to. Every little niche of my emotional trend, as I
You're
proceed through
oversharing,
life,
is what you're saying.
Exactly
You're
right.
oversharing.
That's the perfect word for it. So much so that it becomes, and then you'll start to gossip about other people because you talk and talk and talk and talk. That's what you do with your best friend. I wanted to ask, to talk about someone else with your best friend because it's what you do, or to talk about yourself and listen, heed them, and then you give them advice, and that exchange between best friends, I don't think the church is particularly fond of that because it tends to lead to you're setting yourself up for the sin of just the idea of gossip and not leading the quiet and peaceful life that
Not too quiet.
the Virgin Mary led, for example.
I don't want to lead a very quiet life, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
But I think maybe the principle is true that you have to take enough responsibility for your own testimony to be a blessing to other people. Perhaps it's hard to do that if you're really super childish in a relationship and you just want to be coddled and loved and tell me all the good things about myself, friend. So that's probably an important distinction to make. But I love doing that.
Yeah, I know, it's very tempting because you're with your best friend. You're at the level of, you've already reached the level of perfect, equilibrium. You guys are perfect. So bang, bang, bang. You just share your load, your life with this person, and then you think to yourself, should you be doing that? In the sense that you've got the best friend up there to give you advice.
Sorry, I think it gets dangerous when that's the only thing that you talk about with that
If
friend.
it's the only thing, that would be a problem.
Like, I've got a friend who will only ever talk to me when there's something going on in my life that, is considered drama.
Okay, that's a
And I think that
drama is literally gossip. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But they also sound like a pretty unhappy friendship. I'm not going to lie. I'm just making that assessment about that.
It's a good observation.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's just the way it is. So I think it's dangerous when that's the only thing that you guys have in common, or it's the only thing that you will talk about. But if you know, you talk about other things and that's not the basis of your friendship.
Yeah.
It's just a fine line.
I think, well, obviously we know that gossiping is wrong, and if your best friend is truly a best friend and a good friend, that they will bring you back and tell you, no, we shouldn't say this, and no, we should stop. And it is very tempting because you're so relaxed with each other to sort of overstep that and think that that's okay. But again, coming back to Proverbs 17:17, a friend loves at all times. So even though they might hear you out, they might say, hey, don't say that about this person. And it comes back to, as well, rejection. You feel a bit more comfortable talking to your best friend, but your best friend should always be able to say, hey, no, come on, let's not do that. So I think if we're going to take anything home today, that's going to be that message that, you know, you love at all times, and you come back to, you know, your Christian roots and, you know, essentially what would Jesus do. And
WWJD.
So, yeah, I'm going to give you a high five here. What are you doing, man?
Okay, I'm going for it.
yeah, so I think that we've covered pretty much everything for today, as much as we could anyway. So we hope that everybody's taken away something from our panel today, and thank you for joining us on CYC Youth Chat. God bless you, and please keep us in your prayers. Thank you.